everyone, Sandy here. Welcome back to part 2 tutorial for the album we're making that will go in the book box that we've done a tutorial on earlier or created earlier. This is the cover that we did yesterday in part 1. And so we're going to cut the papers for our pages, but we're basically going to work on the inside, front, and back cover today. So I have my pattern papers. I'll go over all that with you in a bit. I'm also going to be using the Heartfelt Creations album tags and accents. I'm specifically using the outer and inner dies for the tag here because this is what I'm going to use for my closure. If you don't have the die, but you do have graphic 45 tags, that's what I used in the original book. In the Rare Oddities, I did use graphic 45 tags, so you could do that instead, but for this I wanted the white cardstock, so I am punching out my own tags for that. So I'll move these out of the way and I'll go over those in just a second for you. I wanted to give you the measurements for the papers or the pages. So we have 2 here. These are going to be the flaps for the inside, front, and back covers. So you want 2 of these, the white cardstock that you have cut at 7 inches by 8. And we're going to score those. So let me get the scoreboard and your scoring tool. So you're going to score your 7-inch side at a 1/2 inch on both of these. That's going to be your attachment flap, 1/2 inch. And these are for the inside, front, and back cover. Okay, set to the side. And then for your pages, it's going to be 5 pages in this book, but we're going to be building up on each page. But we're going to go ahead and do all 5 of these right now. And I cut these out at 7.5 by 8. And you're going to score each one on the 7.5 inch side at a 1/2 inch. So go ahead and do that on all 5. So we are not going to be using these today, but I wanted to get them ready so that we have them as we're doing each page set, getting it ready to put in the book. So we'll be adding flaps and pockets and belly bands and different things to different pages. But these main 5 pages we've already cut, and we have them ready as we need them throughout the tutorial series. So these we've got scored. We're just going to set them aside for now. Okay, and we can go ahead and put, well, no, we don't put this up yet. We're going to use it for our tags. So along with these 2 flaps, you want 2 tags. So these that I cut with this die, this Heartfelt die that's available at Country Craft Creations. So use the big outer die for the tags. The finished length is 6 inches, and they're about 4 inches wide. And then what I did is took this one and I put it in and I scored it at 2. You can do this at different sizes. This is just going to be the attachment part of it. I wanted it short. You can actually score it and then trim it down, just have a 1/2 inch hinge or attachment flap. But this is you need 2 of these, one for the front and one for the back, okay? And then you're going to have your patterned papers. So for these, I cut it with the inner one, with the die, and I cut 4. So these are a little bit smaller than your actual die. And then I'm going to trim these down for the width after I'm ready to put these on. So just set these aside. I've punched these all out. Got them ready to go. So set those aside. I've already scored those, so we can put up our scoreboard now and get it out of the way. And then your patterned papers for the inside flaps, you want to cut those. So I have 2 here that are for the inside cover that are 6 5/8 wide by 8 5/8 tall. So I cut them an eighth of an inch shorter in the width and 1/8 of an inch shorter in the height. So those are the 2 inside covers. And then you need 4 for your flap. You need, front and back. You need the front and you need the inside. So I cut 4 of these that are 6 3/8 wide by 7 7/8 tall. So we have those ready. Let's grab our cover and open it up. So this, make sure I've got my front here on the left. That's the top. And we're going to see here. Did I score these? No. Yes, I did. So these flaps for the score line, the 1/2 inch score line, go ahead and fold and burnish. Get a good fold. I like to do it front, forward, and backwards, so that it has a good fold, so that it bends and turns well. And you can do that with your artisan without any problem. So just fold it on the score line and burnish. And then flip it back around, turn it the other way, and then back to the way you had it. So we know that it's bending really good. Now this is going to go inside here, but it's going to attach to the inner side towards the spine. And we're going to make sure it's burnished really well here. So I'm just looking at it. It's going to attach here with the fold towards the spine and here. And then we will put the pattern paper over it after we attach everything in. So you lift this up, you can see where your fold line is. On your cover, right there. So this is going to go, so you want it opening in this way, like this. So we're going to center this. It doesn't go the whole distance. Turn this a little bit so I can see it. Not here on this line here, but the fold line. Just inside, about a 1/16 of an inch from that. So it's about a 1/2 inch from the bottom outer edge. I'm going to take my glue. Put glue on the back side here on this 1/2 inch attachment flap. And we're going to line this up where the fold is of the book, of the spine. And make sure it's even top and bottom. So it looks like about a 1/2 inch each section. Burnish that down. Just make sure it's not in your fold line. And make sure it's straight and burnish that down. So that one goes there. Okay. And then this other one, you want the fold over here. So put your glue on the back side. And line it up. Center it. So you want it even on the outer edge here, here, and up here. And we're going to burnish that down so that the fold is not in the spine area, but it's right on the edge. So that's going to open like that. Next, we're going to take our tag, and I'm just trying to decide, do I want to put eyelets in mine? I think I do. So we're going to go ahead and add the pattern paper to these first. So the blue is what's going to go on the outside here. And I need to trim this down. I want the margin around. So lay it down. And we're going to cut it. I'm just going to take a pencil. Cut it right there. On that, I'll line these up and get my trimmer. This first one is already cut. This one was not cut. Get the trimmer and cut this one down. Go, just trim that off. So it's about 3/4 of an inch trimming off of that one. Let's see how these others, I may have already trimmed these down. Yes, that one's trimmed down as well as this one. Okay, so I've got them trimmed. I just missed one. And so this is going to go, and pay attention to my direction. This is the one that goes here. Go ahead and put glue on it. And you just choose the patterns that you like for your book. Put this right here on the front. Burnish that down. Have this other one, the other blue lettering goes like this. And pay attention to my lettering and make sure it's not upside down. This floral pattern on the back is pretty too. But I think with the Santa, I like this blue lettering. Lay this here. Burnish that. Open it up. This will not have anything in it. This is going to be attachment. And like I said, you can trim that down if you want to, but I'm just going to leave mine the same. So, put Santa's, the reindeer on the inside. I'm just going to fit this in. Add some glue. Pay attention to your direction. These dies make it so nice and easy to have your mats. So if you haven't checked out these die sets at Country Craft Creations, again, this is the album tags and accents. I can see a lot of use out of this particular die set that is available. Last I checked, hopefully if it's sold out, she will be getting some more in because it's a really great die set. So go ahead and line these up. Okay, now I'm going to pause for just a second and pick out some eyelets that I want to use. That's optional. If you don't want to add them to yours, you don't have to, but I am going to add some eyelets. Okay, so I have my eyelets. I'm going to use the silver ones, so I'll pick out 2 silver eyelets. Some extra in there. I don't need that one. It's kind of stuck together here. Pick one that doesn't have one stuck together. There we go. We got 2. Then you're going to need your crocodile. I'm going to punch the larger hole. I'm just going to center it in each tag. And I want this from the outside, so I want the finished part on the outside. Okay, so drop it in, finished part on the outside, just like that. I'm going to take my setting tool and insert the prong and then just punch really hard, and that will set it and bend the back sides like that. So there's that one. Same thing on this one. From the front, from the blue side, I drop in my eyelet, push that in, take the tool, that little pointy thing right there, that goes into the hole on the finished side. Line it up nice and straight here and just squeeze so that it presses down on the back side. Okay, real simple. So now we have those. So this one's going to go here on the right because of the lettering, and it's just going to center with the fold on the outer edge like that. That's where it's going to go, like this one. And we will have a magnet to hold this down. So I'm going to put glue on the back flap here. I'm using glue so that I can move it around. And then I'm going to lift this up and set this under it and line up the fold along the outer edge of my album and just kind of center this best I can, lift this up and burnish. Okay, just like that. Let's put the other one on the other side. Go like this. So the back side of the flap, the attachment flap. Lift the flap up, lay this under it, and just line it up the fold of the tag on the edge of the album. And burnish. Okay, just like that. Okay, so there's that. Now then, let's go ahead and put our pattern paper here. Double check my album. I believe that's all I need to do with that. Okay. So we're just going to add this inner blue piece that I cut. Now, if you want to use the wording, but I want this because flap's going to come over it. So I'm going to do it like that. Or I can put the wording. Let's see how that looks. This is going to go over it. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to put this down. So take my glue. I love this print too, so I may be using it somewhere else, but I'm going to go ahead and use the letters. So we're going to pattern the whole inside of our cover piece, and this pattern piece was cut at 6 3/8 wide by 7 7/8 tall to cover this entire piece in here. So let's line it up. Goes over the fold here. Line it up at the top and the bottom. And burnish that. So you see how your flap comes there. I'm going to burnish that like that. And we will be having a magnet set added in. Make sure this is going to attach down really well like that. Open this one up. So our other piece is going to go here. Make sure our words are in the right direction. I hope I didn't do the other one upside down. No, it's correct. Use our glue. And burnish. The blue is so pretty. Okay, so there's that. It's going to go like that and like that. So this is our spine in here for our pages. So let's add our magnets. I'm going to use the basic gray. So I need 2 plus and 2 minus. These are available from Country Craft Creations. And I'm just going to, oh yeah, I forgot to put my magnets on before I did my pattern paper. Okay, goof up, but we're going to do it anyway. It's going to be just fine. I will make sure in the instructions to let you know. So I'm going to put that one about right there. I'm going to have to put a tag or something here, and so it'll be fine. Pull the backing off this other one. Didn't think that through well for you, and I do apologize. So hopefully I'll put a banner on the video so that you know to cover this up with the pattern paper before you actually put that down. So I'm going to take a little bit of tape here. I'm going to cover this one up and this one. Now I might have been putting something down there anyway, so it's okay. It's just that I would have preferred to put it under the paper first. So let's put this here. Peel your backing off. Attach your magnet down. I'm doing it about 1.25 inches centered. And match up the magnets and then pull the backing off the other one. And we're going to touch that down and lift up. And we'll put a little bit of tape on there. And then I'm going to go ahead and find something, a tag that I want to put over this part here. And then we'll put the pattern paper on as well. Okay. To cover the magnets, I took some of the white cardstock scraps that I have, and I cut 2 pieces, 2¼ by 2¼ and I stub punched 2 opposite corners. Okay, then I took some scraps of the stripe and I cut these out at 2 by 2 and I scallop punched 2 opposite corners so that it's going to have contrast here. So I'm going to glue these 2 together. So that these are lining up opposite here and here. So you have 2 patterns like that. Okay. Make sure they lined up pretty good. Okay, I'm going to do the other one the same way. And so I'm putting small photo mats on the inside of these tag flaps. And so that's something I probably might have done anyway. And I think I'm going to like how that looks. So it's okay that I kind of messed up. And in crafting, paper crafting, you don't have to admit it. There's never an actual error. You fix it and make it like it should have been that way. So it's quite possible I would have put something there anyway. So I'm just making sure I'm getting it straight and burnish it really good around that magnet. Okay. And so there's that little photo mat there. I like how that looks. I'm going to put the other one on the other side. This pattern paper is cut, and I want the Santa here on the front. So these are cut 6 3/8 wide by 7 7/8 tall. Go ahead and put the glue on this one. And then we'll need to look in my stash and find some ribbon or trim that I want to put in the eyelets of my tags, flaps. So we're just going to line this up here like this. Get nice and even all the way around. Burnish those, your hands, and then burnish really well with your foam folder around your magnets. Isn't that pretty? I love that, like that. And then we're going to open this up and we're going to add this one in here with the moon and the gold flecks. It goes here on the back side, just like that, same size. And just put some glue on there. And so it has lots of room for photos. Now my original album, I did not have waterfalls. I think hadn't started, that wasn't popular or hadn't become a thing yet. And so waterfalls makes it really nice to be able to add extra pictures. So I may adapt this so that we can have waterfalls. Not this, but one of the pages. So I just need to move this a little bit down. Even here. Okay. There we go, and burnish that. So that is an option that I may have in this one that I didn't have in my original album. So there's that, like that, and that closes up. And then we'll put some trim on that. And so we're going to put this one over here the same way. So today for part 2, we are just doing the inside covers of our album. Getting that all done, and then we'll do our start on our first page set for part 3. This goes here over the magnet. Right here. And we open it up and we put the other pattern paper here. Again, the moon and the gold flecks in the sky. Burnish that down. Okay, and I'm going to pause and go find some trim that I want to tie into my tag flaps. Okay, so I don't know what I was thinking when I put my eyelets in. I should have looked at my paper and my trim on my box, and I needed to use gold instead of silver. So if you have put eyelets in and you changed your mind on the color, or if you didn't get them in good and you need to redo them, just I took my Tim Holtz scissors and I just carefully pull them out. Just kind of bend the backs off, or a pair of pliers, and then I reset with gold, and I like that much better. Then I took a piece of gold glittery ribbon I had in my stash, and I'm just going to trim the ends at an angle here. And I've already done this one, so I just thread it through the eyelet and make them even, and then I double knotted it in here just to kind of give it some ribbon here. Just pull it, loop it through it one more time to make sure it's secure. So any kind of ribbon trim that you might have that will go through your eyelet if you're using the tags for your flaps here. And trim this one off just a little bit more. There we go. So I like how those turned out like that. So that is the inside cover of our album on front and back. So this is part 2, and so we'll start working on page set 1 in part 3. So be sure you have subscribed and click the bell so you'll know when my next video is ready. Make sure you check out countrycraftcreations.com for your crafting supplies, and check out this beautiful Christmas paper collection that's exclusive to their store called Christmas Dreams. Until the next video, check back for part 3. Bye-bye.